Welcome back to TYT Sports. Jason and Francis here, and we're going to be shortly joined by our good friend Josh from Crave Online, and we're going to be discussing the Los Angeles Lakers and their big breaking news, which is they have hired Luke Walton as their new head coach. Byron Scott out the door, was basically roasted for what he was supposed to do, which is babysit Kobe Bryant. And now they're looking to make the next steps. They have their young talent. We know that those pieces are in place with D'Angelo, with Julius Randle, and the bunch there, of course. But now with Luke Walton, it's a different story. One, he's a young head coach. Two, he's was a Laker. He was a champion as a Laker. So they're excited to bring him back into the fold. This is something the Lakers seem to do regularly, is bring in their own blood to run the team, at least when it comes to coaching. In general, though, we know Luke Walton's tenure with the Warriors has been great. He was 39-4 when he was head coaching them in Steve Kerr's absence. The big difference, the big question, though, is Luke Walton the number one thing that could change the Lakers from going from 17 wins to at least 35 or 40?
First of all, to go back to your point, I love how you said Byron Scott was there to babysit Kobe Bryant. If I had a babysitter like him when I was younger, I would have had all the fun because there was no babysitting. There was go Kobe, do what you want to do, take as many shots as you need to, and just have a great retirement tour. I love the headline that was ran. It was Byron Scott fulfills what he was supposed to do. He was there to just allow for Kobe to have his retirement tour and do whatever he wanted. Now, Luke Walton coming in, you mentioned it right there. The big difference is he's not going to have any of those star players. No. He now needs to build a team around youth, prosperity, some potential stars in there. How's he going to manage them? How's he going to rebuild the trust around D'Angelo Russell? It is a lot of posing questions there to see how he's going to fulfill this. But I want to throw to Josh, see what your thoughts are on this. So first of all, Josh, Luke Walton, what do you think about him hired as a new Lakers coach?
One of the first things I thought of when I'm trying to think of Luke Walton joining the Lakers was the TV show Friends. Everyone loved Friends. One of my favorite characters, Joey Tribbiani. It was a great supporting cast. It was an all-star cast. But remember the TV show that followed, the spinoff?
Joey. Oh, Jesus.
It bombed. It was terrible. No one loved it. Everyone thought it would be a huge hit. When I think of Luke Walton, I think of that because this is a guy who's been in the right place at the right time his entire career. He was part of the Shaq Kobe era, the Kobe Gasol era. Then he spends like a year in Memphis, and next thing you know, he's part of the, arguably, aside from the 96 Bulls, the greatest franchise in NBA history, at least the greatest season in the association's history. This is a guy with only, 44, 45 regular season games coaching experience under his belt. He's extremely young. He's only 36 years old. That being said, he could be the exception to the rule. Pat Riley was only a year or so older when he won his first title with the Lakers. But still, guys, there's a lot of red alarms going off when I see Luke Walton getting hired, especially with this massive contract, which in my opinion, it is a massive contract. 5 years, $25 million. I mean, that automatically puts him amongst the top 10 highest paid coaches in the league. And you guys hit the nail on the head earlier. It's all going to boil down to what management can give to Walton. They got to get him not just one star player, but at least two. Can they get a Chris Paul trade? Can they sign Kevin Durant? Can they get DeMar DeRozan? Maybe add an Al Horford. They need a couple star leaders, some true leaders, to make this a cohesive unit within the next 2 years. If they don't make the playoffs in the next 2 years or so, Jim Buss and company, they're going to have some more explaining to do, and this might not end well for Luke Walton.
Right, and a lot plays into this too, because as you mentioned, I'm happy you mentioned the contract. 5 years, $25 million is not a small amount of money. It's Lakers money. Makes sense, at least with the organization he's going to be running for a little bit. But you make multiple good points. One, Pat Riley was just about the same age when he won his first championship. But that's also a very drastic comparison, because look at what Pat Riley has become and what he's done. Now, we're not saying here that Luke Walton can't become Pat Riley. I mean, he might have to slick his hair back a little bit more every single day, starting at 36 years old. But even Dan, our EP, just mentioned, Luke Walton's 2 years younger than Paul Pierce. He can probably still play. He's actually might be better than some of the players on the Lakers right now. Yeah. But to me, this is a big experiment, because what I like from Luke Walton, at least this season, is the team did not fall apart around him. They actually only got better when Kerr wasn't there. And that's a huge thing, because we know coaching and its importance in the NBA. but they almost surpassed what Kerr was doing. Of course, obviously, they're still in contact with their head coach. It's not like Kerr obviously had the major back problems. The heart goes out to that. That's awful pain, but he was still communicating. Now, without that line of communication and those star players, you're taking over a team. There's a downside, but the upside is huge because if you succeed, if he goes 500 with this team next year, or even gets to 30 wins and shows promise, he already said he's going to use elements of the triangle, but not Phil Jackson's dead set triangle offense that he played under. He wants to use what the Warriors have been doing to opening up their shooters, opening up the three-point line, and they do have the talent that could shoot the three ball. At least we've seen a little bit of it.
Well, I mean, I hate to just be the only one, I don't know if you guys were, but to address the elephant in the room is that he's got an advantage now is coming into a team that now is going to be without Kobe Bryant. Yes, relax.
That's
relax.
a big one.
I know Kobe Bryant ended his tenure in the Lakers in the most respectable and unbelievable fashion. But are we just bypassing the amount of games that we've seen the Lakers play this season in which they would try to distribute the ball to Kobe Bryant to get him that golden shot and just completely disregarded some of the best shooters they had in their team? He's now going to go into a team where he can quite literally build or rebuild another offense that doesn't just revolve around Kobe Bryant. What I'm anxious to see him in action is what's going to go on in the trade. What is going to happen in the draft? Are they going to be able to draft some of the star quality that we want them to try and get that star power that Josh was mentioning? Of course, you'd love to get an Al Horford or a Kevin Durant or anyone else of that star power in to build around, but how many other franchises are going to be looking at that? I'm still standing by my guts that Kevin Durant's going to go to the Celtics, which I think OKC will bomb out against the Spurs and just be swept. I don't know if they'll be swept, but they will lose no matter what. So I'm anxious to see how he's going to work when it comes to the draft and how he's going to bring in some more useful talent that are of superstar quality, depending who they get, and how they mix it in with some of the youth that they have already. Because how do you get the best out of D'Angelo Russell? How do you get the best out of Clarkson? How do you get the best out of these players now that I think have just been in the shadows to allow for a great player to have a great retirement tour, retirement game?
I want to throw back to Josh. Great points, as always. But I was going to say, too, with Josh, is this something that because you mentioned the free agency with the Lakers, Luke Walton talked about how he had the conversation with Jim Buss and Jeannie Buss, and they have a similar plan for who they want to go after. Outside of Kevin Durant, because we know how much of a difference he makes to any team he goes to, is there one player you were thinking that could immediately make the Lakers a playoff team next year?
That's a hard question. I think as long as you get some star player, whether you trade away a lottery pick, you trade away D'Angelo Russell, they got to do what they got to do to get a star player to sell tickets. I never thought I'd see the day, and I think you guys can say the same, that the Clippers games would be a bigger draw than Lakers games. I used to live in LA. They used to give away Clippers tickets. I took a group of 10 kids to a Clippers game for free one year. It was a Pacers Clippers game. We sat in like the middle tier for free. And now it's the Lakers games that people are kind of scoffing at. I never thought I'd see that day. But guys, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what kind of coach Luke Walton is. I've never been in the locker room. I don't know Walton personally, but this is all going to boil down to, like you guys said, whether or not the Lakers get a star player. I'm just shocked they didn't interview anyone else. Reportedly, they didn't even interview Thibodeau or Kevin Ollie. I mean, they waited way too long to get rid of their former coach, Brian Scott. So, guys, if they can get that star player and they can actually get that Friends all-star cast to support Luke Walton, they got a shot.
I was going to say, any mention of Friends, Francis?
I mean, I'm a huge fan. I thought we were going to start trading back and forth quotes there, but
right.
I try and put the Joey spin-off series to the back of my mind, as I'm sure you do as well, Josh. Big fan of Friends. It was a tough time for us all to bounce back, and they continue to try and tease us. Oh, the All-Star Friends cast is coming back. They're going to. No, they were on a fucking reunion show where they said hi to a director. It wasn't a comeback. It was just him joining a panel.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't toy with my emotions like that.
All right, guys, make sure to comment below with your thoughts about Luke Walton and what is going to happen with the Lakers, who they need to sign, draft, trade away. Lots of good things happening in Los Angeles basketball scene. Make sure to check out Crave Online. You can go to, Josh, where can we find you as well? On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where can we get that info?
That's right. J. Helmuth. In German, it's Helmut, a very Amish name. If you've been to Amish country, maybe you've seen the name. But that's Helmuth. Doesn't get any more German than that. Facebook and all that stuff.
Awesome. Make sure to check it out. Follow him on social media. For Francis, it's at Francis_Maxwell and at JasonRubin91 on Twitter, and TYT Sports over on Twitter as well. We'll see you there.